If you hear fapping during the Black Eyed Kids one, that was Matt.
And my fingers.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Has the Black Eyed Kids one gone up yet? It has, hasn't it? Yeah, it has.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
So people can hear the ghosts in the background and the fapping of the ghosts.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I put that in the description or not, actually. I was planning on it, but I don't think I did.
Yeah. I've got, for this one, I do have a thing. Matt didn't go back in time and do it. All right?
You notice that that's in the description.
Yes, in pretty much every one.
Every one since the one was about death, did Matt go back in time and do it?
You even tried
I didn't do it for the OCD one because it didn't work.
Yeah, but you put it in another one that wasn't... Well, it wasn't death, but it wasn't applicable. But you still put it in. You said, oh, wait, no, that couldn't happen.
Yeah, I know. I like it. It's like an inside joke.
Yeah.
To people that actually listen regularly, which is probably just you and see me. Hi.
Yeah, that's what my fingers are, an inside joke.
There's something wrong with me. I have trouble with, like, remembering words sometimes. Like, the most simple words. Like, I was messaging Lana the other day, because we're going to watch Jimmy Carr this weekend. And we were talking about going to get some... Yeah, we were talking about going to get some dinner before. I couldn't remember the word restaurant. I don't know why, but I couldn't remember the word restaurant.
I tell you what, Lana is so forgetful. She forgot she'd ordered a package for her mum, and she thought I'd ordered it. Even though I don't even know her mum's name.
Her name's Maha.
Maha?
Yeah.
Bit like that girl we knew at university.
I guess so,
Do you remember her for the first year?
Yeah, the one that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's just, I remember she was helping, actually she was in one of Lana's film groups and she just sat around doing nothing. They came to my house to film. I ended up doing more work than her and it wasn't even my project. She literally just sat on my sofa doing nothing on her WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And asking for my Wi-Fi password. It's like, oh my God, what? This is your work. Why am I doing more work than you?
Yeah.
I was running around after them. I didn't even finish my story. Anyway, so I couldn't remember the word restaurant. So for some reason I started saying eatery. And now I like the word eatery more than restaurant. Yeah. So I'm going to be using the word eatery from now on. I tend to do that. I tend to switch words.
Yeah.
And just expect everyone else to go along with it.
I'm not that sure how you're going to get this into the podcast, though.
What,
today.
eatery?
Yeah, that's your job. You've got to try and get eatery into the podcast.
By the end of the year, it'll be in the Oxford Dictionary.
Yeah.
Yeah, how the hell are we going to mention eatery in this Everest one?
Oh, you could say there's no eateries on Everest.
There's no eateries in Mount Everest.
Yeah. Well, not that I know of, but there might be now.
No, I still don't think there's any eateries in Mount Everest. It's quite snowy and rough terrain.
Yeah. Maybe in the village, like, next to it. There is a village.
I'm sure there's some nearby, but not next to it.
It is a lot of, like, it's Tibetan Buddhists, I think, so...
They probably don't have eateries.
Probably not.
Buddhists don't do eateries.
No. Well, they do eat, but just not at eateries.
No, they like to live off the land, don't they?
Yeah.
If eateries does not become a thing after this episode, because it's only been, like, not even 5 minutes, and we've mentioned it 100 times.
Yeah.
So, eateries. Eateries. It's a good start.
I know. It's morning time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's morning. When do we ever do this in the morning?
Yeah.
Like, the earliest we've ever done it is, what, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
In the afternoon.
Yeah, we're not really morning people, are we?
We're not, because we have to work in the morning, and the one day that I don't have to get up early, I still wake up at 6 o'clock. It's a tough life.
I know, that's what's really annoying me, because I don't have to go to work until 2, but I've been waking up like 8:30 and 9 o'clock the last couple of days.
Yeah,
I could do with the extra sleep.
So can I. Like, it doesn't even matter when I go to sleep. I can go to sleep at like 4 or 5 in the morning. I still wake up by about 8 most of the time, 8 or 9. It's ridiculous. I'm exhausted and my body needs to shut down. I'm going to end up just going into a coma for a while. I'll go into a medically induced coma because I'm too tired. Hopefully they'll do it for that on the NHS.
Yeah, I mean, comas sound quite a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, I think everyone should take about a month out of their life and go into a coma.
Yeah.
Not out of their life, out of their year. And go into a coma, and that will help them recharge their body, and they can get crack on with the next year. That's what we should spend January doing. Everyone should just be in a coma.
Yeah.
And that way they'd also save money after Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I hope you had a good Christmas, because this will probably go out after Christmas.
Yeah, happy Christmas, everybody.
No, it's already gone, Matt. So I hope you enjoyed your presents.
I was saying happy Christmas, yeah.
I hope it's already gone. I hope my estimations are correct. Or hope you have a good Christmas.
Yeah. Me too. I hope you have a really, really, really good Christmas.
I hope you did not murder your family. Matt hopes you do. No, I'm talking to the listeners.
I do. What are you trying to say?
I was talking to the listeners.
And Hitler, if you're out there, hope you have a good Christmas too.
Even if he survived, even if he faked his death then, he's most certainly dead now.
How do you know? He could be Santa Claus. This didn't,
Did the
maybe
Jewish
not
children
nice.
get a lump of coal or something?
Let's not go there.
You're the one that started it. Why are you always with the Hitler? This episode isn't even about Hitler. What is it about?
It's about Mallory and Irvine. Or Irvine. I'm not actually sure on the pronunciation.
What his name is Andrew Sandy. Wait, no, intro music.
Intro music.
Welcome to the Dorks Deduction Podcast, where we talk about stuff.
Irvine. Yeah, let's go with
Irvine is one of them. And George Mallory.
Yeah. See, Mallory's got an easy-to-pronounce name.
When you first told me about doing this episode, I thought you meant Mallory, like the names were Mallory and Andrew Irvine, and they were a married couple, and they climbed Mount Everest. So when I actually started reading it, I was like, where's Irving's wife? Where's Mallory? And then I realised, George Mallory, as in a surname, not the first name. So you proper confused me with that one, Matt.
Well, it's good you caught on eventually.
Eventually, about half an hour ago, that's when I caught on.
Yeah, half an hour. Well, you would have found that anyway during the podcast.
Yeah, probably. Or I just would have been really confused and quiet the whole episode. Anyway, we just jumped straight into random names that people aren't going to know.
Yeah.
So, what is this episode actually about?
Well, it's about Mallory and Irvine. They attempted to climb Everest in what was the second expedition to Mount Everest. Second, I thought.
The third.
No, the first was in 1922.
The first, I'm pretty sure it was the third expedition.
Well, I read it was the second.
Where is it? First, Mallory and Bruce. Second, Norton and Somerville. Third, Mallory and Irvine. Mallory and Irvine were the third one.
But that was in the second expedition.
Oh, okay, right.
It's the third attempt in the second expedition.
Oh, okay, yeah, carry on then.
Yeah. God, you're always trying to correct me, aren't you?
Because it's so easy.
Oh, shut up. Anyway, let's get on. George Mallory was quite an experienced climber, and he was really highly thought of in the climbing world.
World?
Yeah. Well, there's I heard like the climbing circles.
Oh, yeah, I heard that as well, and I just found it really, really funny. I just imagine people climbing in circles.
Yeah. You get dizzy doing that, though.
Yeah.
So, there's climbing circles where climbers, join
I just
together.
thought they were called mountaineers.
Yeah, that's probably what they are. We'll call them mountaineers instead of climbers. Because climbers is just like climbing a hill or something like that.
Yeah, anyone could do that, like climb a flight of stairs.
Yeah, and I think Everest a bit more than a hill.
Just a little bit. Bit.
Yeah, so...
I mean, it's no Hampstead Heath, but it's just a little bit more than a hill.
Yeah.
You've never been to Hampstead Heath, have you?
No.
Okay, so you don't even get the reference.
No.
It's just like it's like a park with loads of hills, but they're not that steep.
Yeah, there's quite a few hills around the country, but they're not that great. I think we've only got a couple of mountains in this country anyway.
We have mountains in this country?
Yeah, there's Mount Snow. Well, it's in Wales, technically.
Yeah, no, but we don't have it in England. We don't have any mountains in England.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I knew we had some in, like, Wales and Scotland.
Yeah.
I'm not a complete moron.
I don't know. You do a good impression of mine.
Only some of the time. Only when it's this early, Matthew.
Anyway, getting on to Mallory. He was quite experienced by the time he went to climb Everest.
How old was he when he went to climb Everest?
He was 37, which might
Quite
not...
old. He's very old.
Yeah, I mean, might not seem old to, like, some people now, but for like, mountaineers at that time, that was
It was 1924. He was old in 1924 if he was 37.
In 1924, this would have been, like, one of his last opportunities to try and climb Everest.
Yeah, it's sort of like any sportsman, though. When they hit their mid-30s, that's like the end of their career.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get any you don't get not any, but many footballers or tennis players that are in their late 30s still playing and being at the top of their game.
Yeah.
They tend to retire mid-30s.
Yeah, I mean, he'd probably be thinking about, like, a career in punditry or mountaineering.
But didn't he have an actual job, though, as well? I'm pretty sure he had a different job, too.
I don't know, because...
He was actually a teacher. That was his profession.
Yeah.
Because all of the people that were on this expedition had actual careers. They weren't just constantly doing mountains.
No.
Climbing mountains.
Although I think they do come from quite a kind of... I wouldn't say privileged in, like...
You have to be affluent in the 1920s to be mountaineers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anything else. It requires a lot of training, and that requires a lot of money.
Yeah. So they did come from quite affluent backgrounds. Whereas Irvine, he was quite a bit younger than Mallory.
He was only 22, wasn't he, when they went missing?
Yeah, so he's a good, like, 15 years younger or so.
You know what we didn't do? We didn't tell them... Actually, no, let's just carry on. I was just going to say we didn't tell them who actually is the official people that climbed the mountain were. First people to climb the mountain.
Yeah, well, I was going to come to that.
Okay,
actually.
that's fine. We'll come to that afterwards.
Yeah, I was just telling them who they are first. So,
okay,
cool. Irvine was not actually that experienced a climber or mountaineer.
But he was quite good, though, for someone 22.
Yeah, he was quite good. Getting back to Mallory, though, he was actually... I mean, Mallory was really well admired. There's a poet called Robert Graves, and he was known in the... climbing circles well, I don't think he was a mountaineer technically. He was known to those circles. I think he witnessed Mallory climbing at one point, and he said it was some of the best climbing he'd seen. I mean, he was literally doing what a lot of people thought was impossible.
Some of the best... They just climb. All you really need is upper body strength, right?
Yeah, but it's like where maybe some people would start to fail. Because obviously it gets harder.
But, like, how can you differentiate great climbing with just climbing? I see climbing as climbing.
Yeah, but it can be technique.
You either do it or you don't.
There's technique to it. I think it's a lot more difficult than it looks.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, how can you differentiate between good climbing and just climbing? I just think it looks the same. Either you can climb or you don't, or you can't.
Yeah, but what I mean is he could do things others couldn't. So, he was physically very capable. And this is why many believe they may have possibly reached the summit of Mount Everest. But they're not officially the people that are credited as first reaching Everest.
Because they never came back down.
Yeah, they didn't,
They never returned from the expedition.
No, they didn't. And in fact, Mallory was found in 1999. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit similar to Stendek.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was reading up about it.
Yeah, they were discovered.
They were found around the same time as well. It's the aliens, I tell you. It's the aliens.
Yeah.
They weren't missing... Well, actually, no, it was 24 years apart, so I can't say anything about the time they went missing.
Yeah.
Something else happened in 1924. What happened? Did Lindbergh baby... Is that around the time of the Lindbergh baby?
No, that's 30... That was 30s, wasn't it?
I'm trying to make all of our episodes connect.
Well, because what was I going to say? Well, it can't have been my dad or my mum, because they weren't born at that time, so it's not them. Officially, Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said it, because I wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, and I think he's a Nepalese climber or mountaineer.
Odd, because I thought the Nepal... Actually, no, this was 53, so it's fine. It probably changed by then,
So this was nearly 30 years after the Mallory and Irvine attempt. They were the first two individuals to reach the summit of Mount Everest.
And come back down again.
Yeah, and to come back...
Edmund said. He was like, I do not know whether Mallory and Irvine reached the summit. What I do know was that... Oh, shit, I have to say his name. Tenzing Norgay and I were the first to get to the top and back to the bottom again, which is a fair point.
Yeah, true, but if technically you're saying to reach the summit of Mount Everest, then it's whoever got to the summit first. It's not whether you came back down
and lived
or
to
not.
tell about it.
Yeah, that's the point. Mallory and Irvine didn't live to tell the tale, so...
Unless they joined up with Percy Fawcett. That's what happened around that time, Percy Fawcett. Was it?
Was it?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, it probably was, actually.
There we go. They met up with Percy Fawcett.
Yeah.
Decided to look for Atlantis.
Yeah.
And they thought it was on Everest. That's it. Episode over.
Yeah. Well, a bit like Fawcett, Irvine's body was never found.
No,
so.
it was not.
Well,
yet, because it could be buried in the snow like the Stendeck plane was.
Yeah.
Because they started finding remains in the late 90s, and then they found the whole plane, but they still haven't found all the bodies.
Yeah.
So it still could be found. It's just a lot of snow, because Everest is quite snowy. I don't know if you know this or not. It's quite snowy.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
Yeah, it's a little bit cold there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you might want to take some mittens. Yeah, but didn't what's his name? Mallory. He climbed Mount Everest in a 3-piece suit?
Yeah.
Like an actual 3-piece suit? Is that the same 3-piece suit that I'm thinking of, with like the blazer and the waistcoat and the trousers? Or is it a completely different 3-piece suit?
I'm not actually sure on that, because I
just saw a 3-piece suit and I'm just like, that's so gangster of him. Not only did he climb Mount Everest, he did it in a 3-piece suit. He did it like he was going to a party. I'm
not entirely sure whether that's true or not, but it would be like... It would be a good idea. It'd be great if that was true.
Yeah, I'd probably care. No, I would negate the whole Edmund, Hillary and Tenzing Norgay climbing Mount Everest if it was proven that George Mallory tried to climb with a 3-piece suit. It's like, fine, I'll let him have it, because that is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it's kind of important what he wore, actually, because whatever he wore, some people have an idea that it wasn't very thick. And
maybe that's why he died.
Yeah.
Wait, we found George Mallory's body. How could we not know if he was wearing a 3-piece suit or not?
Even though some of his clothes were kind of relatively well preserved, some of it had rotted away. Because clothes kind of rot away quicker than the body in some ways. Particularly because his body was just frozen, basically. It was mummified, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like Captain America getting buried in that ice cube.
Yeah, because I actually saw, I saw a video. You could actually see his, body. He'd been mummified, basically. So you could still see, his skin and stuff like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
They would say really oddly it was actually sun-bleached.
Sun-bleached?
Yeah. Well, I guess they do get sun in Everest.
Yeah, but the sun doesn't bleach you. It makes you darker.
Yeah, well, because I don't know whether there's a thing about snow, because they say snow's quite powerful, because you can go blind from snow.
From snow?
You can get snow blindness. It is actually a thing, because it's so bright.
Basically, I don't want to live in the world anymore.
Why not?
It seems very complicated. Snow blindness, you can get blind from looking at the sun. You can get blind from anything. I don't like it.
Just don't look at the snow. Just, cover your eyes, Tarmin. Cover your eyes. And it won't be there. It'll be gone.
That's what she said.
I don't know.
I was going to say something related, but now I've completely forgotten.
Yeah, when it's gone, though, it's all wet, though, isn't it? You got that one. Good.
Anyway.
Okay. So I better get on to the general events of this 1924 expedition. So Mallory and Irvine, that was the third attempt, as we made clear earlier. Irvine was a bit of a surprising choice in that he didn't have an awful lot of climbing experience. And so that might come important later.
Yeah, but I read that they picked him because he was very adept at using the oxygen.
Yeah.
Oxygen tanks.
Yeah, which were relatively new addition to kind of mountaineering. Yeah,
but you wouldn't be able... I don't know how people attempted to do it before the oxygen tank, because the higher the altitude, the less oxygen you'll get, the higher up you go. So you would need the oxygen tank. No wonder people died doing that expedition. How stupid were they?
I don't think as much was known about that kind of thing back then.
But we did know that we needed oxygen to live, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So had they not noticed that the higher up they got, the less they were able to breathe?
I think it's kind of back then they had an idea that they could do it anyway. And when they found out they couldn't, they realised actually this oxygen stuff's quite important. Because Mallory was actually very sceptical of these kind of oxygen.
And Mallory's supposed to be like this genius climber. He doesn't seem it. Like wearing the 3-piece suit, yeah, I think it's cool. But on Everest, no. And he didn't like the idea of the oxygen tanks.
Yeah, but he did come round to them eventually. So I don't know whether they just misjudged kind of how much they needed oxygen. I think maybe they just thought they could do it without it.
Oh, okay. As men do.
Well, yeah, it's back in the time. But you wouldn't do it now.
Yeah, I meant back in the time. They just thought they were right about everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm not saying that men nowadays don't, because a lot of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm right at everything. So.
Apart from when I correct you on stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're not always right yourself, you know.
I don't pretend to be right all the time.
So yeah, as we said, Irvine was very good at dealing with the oxygen sets. He used to do adjustments to them, which really improved how they were able to function while climbing. And I think because I don't know whether he was good at just dealing with them in general and like carrying them and stuff like that. I think
he was an engineer as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. So
engineering student. So again, well off.
You're probably going to be, if you're going to be able to take the time out to do a bit of climbing. So, and this was at the time in 1924, I think, because they climbed. I don't know when they actually climbed. June?
I didn't get a specific date on that either. I just got the year.
Yeah, I think it's in June. Yeah, it's June. At this point, it's the last real chance to go in the year because the snow starts to get worse after that. The snow, I think they get snowstorms there or something like that, and so that obviously makes it really difficult to climb a mountain. As you can imagine. Really? Yeah. It doesn't really help when it's kind of nearly blowing you off the mountain.
Oh right, I didn't realise that.
That's an innuendo there. If you've ever been blown off a mountain, God.
I think we've had enough innuendos for this episode.
Yeah, we don't need any more.
No.
So yeah,
we're talking about Everest for Christ's sake. Yet we're still making innuendos.
Yeah. So Irvine was his choice of partner, and he actually chose Irvine over Noel Odell, who was another he's quite a famous mountaineer as well. And he was like much more experienced.
So he was the lucky one.
Yeah, he was the lucky one. They planned to start at around about 8 a.m. the next morning. Although Mallory in his letter...
That's quite a late start, isn't it? To climb the mountain.
Yeah.
Because they would want to be like climbing for as long as they could, so they could take frequent breaks, and they can clear more ground.
Yeah.
I figured they'd start early and finish very late, and they'd get a few hours sleep, but then they'd have little rests in between during the day.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be more smarter?
Yeah, well, with our mountaineering experience,
Yeah.
I don't know. It does seem a bit. I mean, surely I don't know, because I don't know what time the sun rises on Everest.
That's true. They probably don't get as much sunlight.
Yeah, but it appears, I think, according to Odell or something, that they were behind schedule.
Oh, so I was right.
Well, no, they didn't leave the camp until 8:40, so I think at this point they were 40 minutes behind schedule.
Oh, okay.
And that can be important sometimes.
Yeah, because they don't have much daylight.
Yeah, 40 minutes might not seem kind of much to some people, but
I know 40 minutes is a long period of time.
Yeah, it does. It
makes a difference in your life.
Yeah, it makes a difference. So they set off, obviously a bit late. Odell went one way, and Mallory and Irvine went the other way. So while Odell was out doing his ascent, he was making geological studies, whereas Mallory and Irvine were just trying to get to the summit. So he wasn't really there to kind of get to the top.
He wasn't there for the glory. He was there for the experience.
Yeah, pretty much, and to find out about Everest.
So he's the smart one.
Yeah, he's the smart one.
The other one's the lucky one. Which other ones we got?
We got the plucky but stupid, probably.
That's Mallory and Irvine, yeah?
Yeah, Mallory and Irvine. So yeah, the mountain it can be very misty and cloudy up there. because it's
Because
so
it's high up.
Yeah, just
Because it's in the clouds.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe just... I feel like this episode we've just been stating the obvious a lot.
Yeah, probably. But, you know, we could have very dumb listeners, you don't know.
Yeah, they don't know what an apartheid is. I still can't get over the fact that our listeners do not know what apartheid is.
Yeah, I mean, when you speak to them, they don't answer back, so, you know.
No, they're just sitting there dumbfounded. I feel you.
Yeah.
Like, the only ones that did speak to us were the ghosts.
Mm.
And that was only after we finished.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ghost Danny. I forgot about Ghost Danny.
Yeah. Ghost Danny's in Greece right now, isn't she?
Yeah, she's in Greece.
Having a holiday.
A holiday in the hell in Greece.
Yeah. Hell.
Anyway.
Yeah. Right, now there's going to be a bit of terminology here that I'm not... Don't ask me what this means, because I'm not an expert at this. But, yeah, with Everest, there's, like, ridges, and there's a thing called first step, second step, third step, which is, I think, just where the mountain...
Taking your first step, taking your second step, taking your third step?
Well, no, it's on Everest, as you get towards the top, there's these first step, second step, third step. And it's just... Because mountain, it's not like stairs, obviously. It's a bit more complicated than that. It's a bit more
like
craggy.
the hooves in the actual mountain where you can step.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
But don't you think of steps as in, like, it's kind of stair step?
No, it's a little place where you can actually get your hands and feet in.
Yeah.
But it's not actual, like, level ground or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, the mists meant that Odell couldn't see the northeast ridge of the mountain. And but about 12:50, so this is probably about 4 hours into the climb, the mist did clear. And Odell noted in his diary that he could actually see Mallory and Irvine.
How far away, though? Or did he have perfect vision or something?
He wasn't that close from what I can gather.
So he just saw something on the mountain and just assumed it was Mallory and Irvine?
Yeah, well, this is going to become important because there's a kind of debate as to what step Mallory and Irvine were on. Odell claims to have seen Mallory and Irvine just as they're about to reach the foot of the second step. That's what he claims he saw at that time. And this is a bit, like, tricky because could he have seen that from his sight? It's very easy to, like, miss what step they were on just because he was so far away.
Yeah, you would not be able to get that.
He did actually describe the seeing two dots, so that tells you how far. I mean, how he even technically knew it was Mallory and Irvine.
No,
you know?
he knew that they were climbing the mountain, so he assumed it was them. But
So
it could have been anything.
Yeah, it could have been two black dots going up Mount Everest.
Or it could have been a couple of flies and they were just closer than he realised, and he thought they were on the mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a bit less likely, because how can you not realise a fly in front of your face?
Yeah.
But you know, it's an option. It's out there.
Yeah. Now, Odell was, because he was quite a respected mountaineer, I think at first people kind of believed him, in a sense. They didn't see any reason why he wouldn't be, like, telling the truth. However, later on, this would come to be, like, debated, because it's just because, like, he's so far away, it's just not, how could you tell? And a lot of people, because also the second step's notoriously kind of difficult to climb. So, and you've got to remember this is 1924, and while Mallory was one of the better climbers of the age, still physically there was doubts about whether they had the capability at this time.
Well, yeah, because they don't have the equipment we do now.
Yeah.
And even now it's still a struggle to get up places like Everest.
Also, whether I think they had the physical strength maybe to do that back then.
Well,
whether we've got stronger.
I think it would be doubtful that anyone would have the physical strength to do that any time, because it drains you just attempting to go up part of the mountain, and it'll just get worse the higher you go up.
Yeah.
So anyone that does manage it, I give you full credit and applaud you, but yeah, I don't know, I understand how anyone could do it. Maybe it's just because I'm really lazy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, a mountain? Nah, I'll sit at home on my sofa.
Yeah. I think I'm the same too.
Really? Just really?
Mountains aren't for
we
me,
were bitching and moaning about starting this at 10
Yeah.
in the morning. That's actually fairly late. I mean, it's not like we had to get dressed or anything beforehand.
Yeah.
We're just sitting in the same room and doing it in a recording studio.
Yeah. They started at 8 o'clock as well.
Well, when I have to go to work, I'd have to get up early. When I have to go to work, I have to get up earlier than 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I end up waking up 6:30.
To be fair, at work, I do have to climb up a ladder. So, you know, I am kind of... I'm on my way.
Sometimes I have to go up the step ladder because I need something.
Yeah.
And I'm quite short.
Yeah, so the clouds and the mist kind of came back again. And so they quickly disappeared again. And they were never seen again.
Duh.
And it's a very, very sad story, I guess. And
for some people, not for conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. And obviously, it's a bit difficult to do a search party at that time.
Yeah, like we've talked about Stendek as well.
Yeah.
We talked about Stendek, and you educated me a bit about why they couldn't have searched it properly. And I'm assuming there's just a tiny bit more snow on Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And the altitude is higher, so it'll be hard to do an extensive search because you can't stay up there that long.
Also, it's just a bit unsafe as well.
It is.
You've got to climb up a very difficult mountain just to find two guys. So basically, Odell, he got back to the camp and they waited. I think they waited like a day or two just to see if Mallory and Irvine came down, and they didn't. And that was the end of the expedition because the third attempt was literally the last attempt.
Yeah, they wouldn't really have funding for much more, would they?
Yeah.
Because it was hard enough for them to get funding with this, because this was supposed to happen in, 1922, and end up happening in 1924.
Yeah.
I think there was issues with the Nepalese at the time, so it was hard to actually get there and then get the funding to do it. They wouldn't have been able to send out a search party.
Yeah, you got to remember it is like this is just the second like expedition they'd ever made, so we're still relatively new to this whole idea of climbing Everest, or the practicalities of it.
Yeah, I had a nice idea. It's because we didn't mention all these people in this expedition. They were British, right? Because they were I think it was sort of like the space race. Every country was trying to get there first.
Yeah.
So it was the same thing. What if another country they were doing at the same time, saw them, bumped them off? That was the idea I had. Because when I read it was like a bit of a competition, I was like, somewhat, it was foul play.
Yeah, I don't think there was...
It'll make it more interesting than it is. Some idiots died.
Yeah.
Because they tried to do something they couldn't do.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's quite so much bitterness as there was in the space race. I mean, the Americans and Russians were at each other's throats.
There's always bitterness, even in like the World Cup or the Commonwealth Games or the Olympics. I don't understand why every country wants to compete against one another. Who gives a shit? You're all shit.
Well, that's Thomas rant for the podcast.
I have to have one an episode.
So basically, listeners, you're all shit, basically. That's what Tarman said.
I think I've been saying that since, when did we start uploading this? May, June time?
Yeah.
So I've been saying it for about 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, God, we've been doing this for about 6 months.
Jesus, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so Odell sent back a signal saying that no trace can be found, given up hope, and that he was going to wait orders for what to do next. And so that meant leaving the mountain, basically.
Well, you can't exactly stay, because even if they hurt themselves, would they still be alive? It's been a couple of days.
Yeah, well, let's go into what happened to Mallory, because we actually know, well...
We've discovered his body, so...
Yeah, well, we say that discovered his body, because his body just happened to be discovered while a television documentary was filming all this.
Really?
So I'm a bit... Well, I'm not necessarily doubting that they found him.
They must have had some sort of a tip-off.
The modern, climbers, they have a bit more information about Everest, and they had general idea of where they were, according to Odell. So they knew roughly where to search, if what, with the path they took. So they knew roughly where to look. So they went up there in 1999 with a television crew behind them, and they just happened to find... Well, they were expecting to find Irvine's body first, because they found his snow axe, or whatever it's called.
A pickaxe?
Pickaxe, yeah. Something
It's the
like
pointy thing, isn't it, that you smash into the side of the mountain? A pickaxe?
Yeah, basically. And so they expected to find him. They also expected to find a camera because...
yes, the missing camera.
Yeah, people had cameras back then, and it was expected that they would take a photo or something like that.
I think the people that funded them wanted them to take photos, and they would claim ownership over the photos, and they'd publish them as they saw fit. That was the price for the expedition.
Yeah,
is the photos.
But also, it's kind of important that it kind of offers at least some kind of proof that who got there, or who got there first as well. Particularly in the case of Mallory and Irvine, if that camera was found, it could be proof that they got to the summit first. So the camera is very important to people, and actually, it's the one thing people when they still go to Everest, it's what they try and find.
The camera.
Yeah, because it's been Kodak, I think said it can still be.
Yeah, because it was preserved. If it was preserved in the ice.
Yeah. It can still, but only for a few more years. So that's why people are so desperate to find it.
If it is damaged, could they tell if there was photos taken though? Because if there was photos taken, then likely they did make it up to the summit, or they wouldn't have taken photos.
Yeah,
it's just you wouldn't be able to see what the photos were.
I think unless they see an actual kind of proper photograph, you can't. So Mallory, how they think he died was that because his rope showed signs of strain or something like that. So they think he kind of got tangled up in it, and that he just kind of fell, basically. And that from what they could tell from his nails or his fingers, he slid with his hands down on the mountain, trying to kind of just get any last-minute grip that he maybe could have done.
Was he not even wearing gloves? What is wrong with Mallory?
I think he would.
Okay, it started off me thinking that he was cool. Now I just think he's a complete idiot.
No, he would have been wearing gloves, but gloves only they're not going to be that strong to get through that.
Oh yeah, because it's 1924.
Yeah, and he came to rest at some point on the mountain, and it's I think he just got buried in snow.
That must be a painful death. Unless he just froze overnight.
But also,
while he was asleep,
his axe fell and it just hit him right bang in the forehead.
Oh, so that probably killed him first.
Yeah, whether that would have killed him instantly or not,
it would have at least knocked him out, right?
Yeah, he would have been alive for a little bit, not for too long.
It's not like he got buried alive.
Yeah, I think it would have been a mercifully kind of quick death.
Okay, hopefully. At least that's good.
Yeah, relatively. So that's how he died, and as I said, they discovered him pretty much mummified. It's kind of cool in a way.
It is. I mean, how often do you get to see a preserved body?
Yeah, because I've seen...
there's one, I can't quite remember the country, but there's this rich guy, and his 2-year-old daughter died.
Yeah.
And he never wanted her to age or decay or anything, so he had her preserved.
Ooh.
And you could still see her.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's creepy as fuck, but it would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
I'd rather see that than skeletons. I see skeletons all the time.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah, when I'm grave robbing.
Yeah. Ooh. So you're into the munting as well, then?
No, I just said I'm grave robbing.
Yeah, right.
I take their possessions, not them.
You can't. you can't hide your secrets from me, Tom.
If you say so.
My cameras will be following you. Yeah, so that's what we know about how Mallory died. Well, actually, interesting. The fact that because not all bodies like that mummify. Because I've seen other bodies where they just go black.
Yeah, like frostbite all over, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe it's because he died. I mean, there was nothing to get frostbitten.
Yeah, so they don't know exactly how he got to the point that he fell, how his rope got tangled up and stuff like that. It could. My feeling is could have been to do with Irvine.
Possibly, it could have been an accident with Irvine because he's only 22.
He's inexperienced, and you just because there's a debate of whether over kind of whether they got to the top. Personally, I don't think so.
But we are forgetting one thing though.
What? Yeah.
About Mallory, he carried a picture of his wife with him everywhere.
Oh yeah.
His intention was to leave it at the top of the summit when he made it there. But when they found the body, there was no picture.
Yeah.
So that could just mean he lost it because, yeah, that's always an option. Like with the Jameson family, their possessions, some of it wasn't found. We just assumed it was just rough terrain or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it could be that he did actually leave it at the top of the summit.
Yeah. Because the difficult thing about knowing whether he left it at the summit or not is if he left it at the summit, it would have probably blown away. Because of, like, the wind. And also...
Unless he buried it or something.
Yeah.
Which you shouldn't really do. You shouldn't really mess with the snow on Mount Everest. Because it could cause a ripple effect, right? You shouldn't really be burying stuff or digging in the snow.
It depends. Well, it's the thing,
especially at the top of the peak.
They actually, because you can't bring, like, bodies down from Everest. So what a lot of people do, they just kind of bury the bodies.
Oh, do they?
And that's what they did. That's what they did with Mallory.
So I thought you weren't allowed to disturb the snow, but whatever.
Well, I think it depends what time of year. Because if there's not, because where Mallory found, there wasn't. From what I remember, there wasn't actually so much snow.
Couldn't they just chuck the body down the mountain and then bury him when he's down?
Yeah, that could probably destroy the body, even with him mummified. Yeah, but that's not gonna. Limbs are gonna fall off and stuff like that. I think.
What if they wrap it up, then throw him down? Or put him on, like, a sleigh?
You've got to take bubble wrap up with you and stuff like that.
Or put him on a sleigh or something.
It's really difficult. You can't get a sleigh up there.
Yeah, I guess. I knew that as soon as I said it.
Santa Claus isn't going up Everest, Carmen.
You just said Hitler was Santa Claus. Hitler did.
Yeah, that could be where he's hiding. You don't know. Everyone come on. Everyone thinks he's gone to Argentina and places like that.
I never said he went to Argentina.
Well, no, that's the big theories, isn't it? Because that's where all the fascists went. Or most of them.
But I just think he's dead.
Yeah, well, we can dream. No. You can edit that bit out.
No.
Sure. So, yeah, Hitler's on top of Everest at the moment.
All right. So we've covered what happened to George.
Yeah.
So Sandy.
There's not too many theories on what happened to Irvine. They think he may have just fell into a crook or a cranny, or whatever they're called. Yeah, or either that or he's buried underneath the snow somewhere.
That's also, I think that's probably one of the better possibilities.
Yeah.
Like, if it was George that ended up falling first and dying,
yeah,
I don't think Irvine would have been able to handle himself on the mountain.
Yeah. For what the 1999 expedition to find Mallory and Irvine, what they surmise happened is that Irvine probably watched Mallory die, or certainly watched Mallory fall, and then
pushed him.
Possibly, maybe there was a fight for glory.
Possibly,
that could be an answer. So yeah, Irvine's inexperience wouldn't have been helpful on his own, and you do really need kind of two people. Is much better climbing Everest having two people. Just because he's never been found, the chances of him getting back down is very, very slim. So there's not much doubt that he died, really.
No, he did die. He just
yeah,
how and when, like before or after Mallory.
Yeah, some I think Japanese climber did claim, or it's either Japanese or Chinese. I did read it somewhere, I can't remember now, did claim that they saw...
How often have we said it's either Japanese or Chinese in this podcast?
Yeah.
Because we have a reputation for being racist now, I think.
No, the reason that it's that the one guy was either one of those two telling another one of Japanese or Chinese. I just can't remember the order.
Oh, okay.
But the problem, this either the Japanese or Chinese person said he saw like a European body, and how he could, and he felt British in particular. And the reason why he said that was the clothing. It just seemed to be particularly British to him.
So he meant pompous.
Yeah, kind of that kind of thing. So he claims to have seen a body somewhere on the mountain that he believed to be British, and in that kind of general area where Irvine was thought to be. The only problem that he died the next day in an avalanche, so they can ask him again about that.
So he got buried in the avalanche, and then Irvine got double buried in the avalanche.
No, this is some few years later.
Oh,
this is a good 20 years later or so.
Why would he mention it 20 years later? I hate it when they do that.
Yeah, well, I think this is when interest was starting to get bigger. This is one of those things where interest is kind of, I think, gradually grown. And that's kind of really the last... I mean, it's not even a proper, sighting. He couldn't tell it was Irvine. He claims to have seen some kind of injury on the body somewhere. I think on the head, which maybe means he could have seen... Well, actually, I think he said he thought he saw a hole in the head or something.
So someone took a pickaxe to Irvine's head, and then somehow Mallory died with a pickaxe to the head as well?
Yeah, but I don't think Mallory...
Maybe he ended up maybe he saw Mallory and thought it was Irvine.
Yeah, although...
Because Mallory was only found in 1999, and he died with the pickaxe in the head.
Yeah, but I don't think there was necessarily a hole in the head of Mallory, though. That's one thing.
Maybe it was a serial killer that lives in Mount Everest and kills people with a pickaxe to the head. Because I find it weird that they both died with a pickaxe to the head.
Well, we don't know, because we don't know what happened to Irvine.
That's true. We don't know if what he said is true. We don't know if the body was Irvine, but if it was, there's a serial killer in Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And that's pretty goddamn cool. Because loads of people die up there, and we think it's just because it's Mount Everest. No, it's a bloody serial killer.
I don't know, yeah.
It would be the best way to hide your murders.
Yeah.
Do it in Mount Everest.
It's a good place to do it, yeah.
Yeah. No one's going to find them.
Yeah.
Well, they will find them, but they can't do anything about it. They can't take the bodies down. They can't they can't do an investigation.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that will be a dump site.
It would be.
Yeah.
It's the perfect way of doing it.
It really is.
You don't even really need to actually bury the bodies.
No, you don't. You can leave it all out in the open.
I just think he fell.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's that wrapped up then, pretty much.
So do you actually think they made it to Mount Kilimanjaro? I was going to say Kilimanjaro, even though we've been talking about Everest for the past hour.
It's not common,
Mount Everest.
I personally don't. I just think with Irvine's inexperience, and even though Mallory was one of the better climbers, back then it was still felt that it was impossible to get. Just even to get past the second step, they thought it was impossible. So I just don't think they did.
Yeah, I think it was a good effort, but I don't think it did. I think what happened was, what's Percy Fawcett's son's name again?
I can't remember.
But I think him and Irvine hooked up or something.
Yeah.
Somehow Percy Fawcett ended up in Mount Everest and thinking El Dorado was there, even though he was in the Brazilian rainforest. Yeah. I'm making this connect, even though he was in the Brazilian rainforest, and then.
So you think
Irvine and the son, they got together and was like, why should my dad and George have all the glory? Let's bump him off. And they bumped him off, and then they died themselves.
Yeah. So
or they went off to the rainforest and had some blue-eyed, blonde-haired children.
So you think Percy Fawcett took a wrong turn or something?
Yeah, and ended up in Everest.
Okay.
Why the hell not? No one can tell me I'm wrong. No one can actually tell me I'm wrong.
He took a wrong turn and managed to kind of go over an ocean.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, no one can definitely tell me I'm wrong. That's the glory of this, because no one knows what happened to either of them, any of them.
They can't.
Yeah, so they can't prove me wrong until they find the bodies and tell me what happened to them. So if you guys hate me and you want to prove me wrong, find out what happened to Fawcett, find out what happened to Mallory and Irvine.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I dare you.
Yeah, because we're too lazy to find
We're
out.
too lazy. We can barely read the Google searches.
Unless Fawcett and Irvine are at the top of my ladder at work, I'm not going to find them. So
yeah, I don't pay attention, so even if they were at the top of my ladder at work, I wouldn't notice.
Yeah. I'd probably just put them on the shelf anyway. Try and find the barcode.
No, I'd be like, I didn't see you. I just let someone else discover you. Yeah. I don't have to deal with you. I don't have to do the paperwork.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't really fancy going through a rainforest or a mountain anyway.
Me either.
So I think we can pretty much wrap that up, can't we?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, Matt, we have to get into doing this. Do the Facebook thing, do the Twitter thing, do the email thing. thedorkseduction@gmail.com. There. Why do we always forget to do it? It's easy.
Yeah.
We'll have to start remembering to do that, because out of the 20 plus episodes that we've done, it's probably about 30 episodes we've done. How many times have we actually mentioned that we actually have all of these things?
Yeah.
About 3 times.
Yeah, I've got a feeling. We just get so carried away.
We do, and then when we're signing off, we get lost in our own conversations and we forgot to say goodbye and then we turn off. But anyway, remember we have all those things, so you might as well use it.
Yeah. Well, what do you want me to like Facebook the Dork Seduction group saying great podcast, guys?
No, because you're Matt Edwards on Facebook and you're Matt Edwards in the podcast. That's really sad. If you're telling yourself it was a great episode. We should save this talk for the social network episode.
Yeah, social network.
Okay. So I think that's that.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That was actually fairly short compared to all the other recent episodes we've done. We did try and shorten it as much as we could.
Yeah.
So
also, we hope we didn't bog you down in terminology and stuff like that that we don't understand.
Bog them down in terminology. It's like, so there's like little holes in the wall where you can step. Yeah, those things.
Yeah.
A pickaxe. Ooh, tough terminology, Matt.
Yeah. Expert knowledge there. You've got to put that in the description just for people.
Our expert knowledge.
Yeah.
If you want to email us to tell us what we're wrong about certain things, that's great as well, because we'll address it in about 10 episodes' time.
Mm.
So, yeah, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
It'll probably be more than 10 episodes' time, but, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm ready to say goodbye because I want to go back to sleep.
I've got to go to work soon.
Yeah.
So
I probably won't even be able to go back to sleep now. But
You won't.
goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye.